Hello, BookTube. It's been a bit of a lack of mail hauls on this channel lately, and that's been my fault. Uh, and there's been a reason for it, a good reason for it. Before we break out the torches and pitchforks, I've had real people here, physical flesh and blood old friends here, and on most of the occasions when the mail came, they were interested, very much so, in seeing what was in the packages, but they didn't want to be on camera. And that's a clear choice, right, BookTube? I mean, if you reach that point and you say to an old friend, no, I'm sorry, I'm saving that for the camera, and you don't do it, then you're not just a douchebag, you're a douche canoe. I try not to have that happen. So, and that's actually, it very rarely happens. So in this particular case, I had to make a choice between BookTube and the real world, which and I made the right choice. But even so, I want to make it up to you. And this blob is Lucy, by the way. And the best way to make it up is with a mail haul, and I have a gigantic one. So we'll go through it, and who knows how long this video will be. I've got rather temperamental late day light. Light's been strange all day, and judging by the achiness that my dogs are feeling, I'm guessing that wet weather is coming, and maybe that explains it. But anyway, let's see. This was also, oh God, this was also a bit of a traumatic week so far. The week is young. Who knows what will happen? A bit of a traumatic week in terms of mail because I had a new UPS driver for one day. I guess my guy had the day off or had an emergency or something. And this UPS driver decided to leave the packages. He decided that the area didn't look safe for him. So he left me one of those slips saying, sorry, we missed you. Fortunately, that didn't happen. That only happened once, and I'm pretty sure that my real driver is coming back tomorrow, so I won't have to worry about it. But it's the bitterest thing in the world to get to the front door, taking your time. I was covered in sleeping dogs at the time. I couldn't bolt up. When I got to the door, I thought, of course, you'll find a stack of packages on the porch or slid inside the front door. Instead, there was that slip, and what a gut punch that is. I'd forgotten what that was like. But let's see here. Oh, my. Oh boy. Okay. This is something I requested. This is due in mid-March, and this is look at that. It's a facsimile reprint of The Wild Swans at Cooley by William Butler Yeats. Wow, isn't that lovely? It's let's see. Oh, the typeface, everything in it is exactly the same. That's wonderful. Just in time for St. Patrick's Day, the pub sheet says. But why would you do The Wild Swans at Cooley now? Didn't it come out in didn't come out in 1917? Did it? It was later than 1917. Well, yes, this reprint is an elegant recreation of the original 1919 text. All right, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. What's a year or two between friends? All right, so what a great way to start. This is a fantastic poetry volume. So for once, a slim volume of poetry that I can get behind. That's great. I have to put the packages around the baby. She's been extra clingy, and I think that's another indication that wet weather is on the way. But anyway, let's keep going. We have a huge amount of books to get through here, so if we're jibber jabbering, we'll be at this all day. Sometimes I get the impression though that if I did an all day video, the rest of you wouldn't mind. It was just very enabling. Oh, here we go. Oh, very good. This is The Wonder of Birds. Look at that. There's a hummer on the cover. What they tell us about ourselves, the world, and a better future. Rather ambitious, isn't it? Considering that 1 billion of them die every year. I don't think they tell us anything about a better future. I think, in fact, they're literal canaries in the coal mine about a worse future. But who is Jim Robbins when he's at home? Oh my! Oh God! He's written 1 million things, and he's been just. He is a working author. That's great. All right, so and that's good because that means that the book will be smooth reading. So it's every aspect of bird life. Oh, don't tell me it has illustrations. Oh, that would be wonderful. It does. It has original illustrations. Look at that. Very nice. Okay, so a classic bird natural history. Great. And then on we go. Alrighty. This is a debut novel by Darcy Bell. It's called A Simple Favor. There is the requisite hideous American cover. Darcy Bell was born in 1981 and raised on a dairy farm in western Iowa. This is her first novel. All right, so it's a thriller. It looks like. Wouldn't have broken glass on the cover if it weren't a thriller, right? A Simple Favor is a feverish and expertly plotted tale of psychological suspense, a twisting free fall filled with betrayals and reversals, secrets and revelations, love and loyalty, murder and revenge. Goodness gracious. Darcy Bell exposes the dark underbelly of female friendship in this taut, unsettling, and completely absorbing story that holds you in its grip until the final page. The dark underbelly of female friendship. Goodness gracious. Being Deb's friend has been nothing but dark underbelly. There hasn't been any upper belly. All right, let's go on here. The Wonder of Birds, William Butler Yeats, and a debut novel. What have we got here? Oh, God, help us. Oh, my God. Okay. All right, well, this is certainly going to get Steve's goat. I like that, though. I'm okay with being irritated by a book. So this comes out in April, and it is a big, fat history of Protestants. Starting with Martin Luther, one assumes, and going forward all the way to the present day. Oh my God, look at the size of this thing. Okay, and this is by Alec Ryrie, who was born in London and grew up in Washington, D.C., graduated from Cambridge University with a double first in history, and received a doctorate in theology from Oxford University. Good Lord. I don't feel fit to be reading his bio note. He's a professor of history of Christianity at Durham University and a licensed minister at his local church. Okay, so I'd say he's qualified up to his eyeballs to write a book called Protestants. We'll see. We'll see if it's any good, but I can't imagine it won't be. It'll certainly be... I'm sorry, baby. Are those in your way? Let's get those out of your way. You want to say hi to the camera? Ooh. Let's do that again. For those of you in the cheap seats. Ooh. Sorry, I'm easily amused. All right, this one has a purple envelope, which leads me to suspect it's YA. So it won't, if it is, it won't be anything that I requested. I haven't requested any YA in a while. So let's see here. Oh, no, it's adult fiction. It's just in a purple envelope. Okay. All right. This is The Epiphany Machine by David Burr Gerard. Ben Marcus, the author of The Flame Alphabet, his cover blurb is, Gerard has masterfully channeled Kafka and written an engrossing and inventive mystery. Sorry, they're all over me. They're not feeling good. I think weather is on the way. So let's see here. He's got an MFA. Teaches writing at Manhattanville College on 92nd Street Y and Sackett Street Writers Workshop. His bio note doesn't specifically say that he lives in Brooklyn, but I think we can take it as given. Let's see here. In our new age of anxiety, bombarded with strident social media posts against a backdrop of fast-shifting news cycles, questions of self-image, public opinion, and privacy compound our ever-mounting confusion. Want to settle down there, Seymour? How about we talk about the book? Okay, leave the rest of it to Noam Chomsky. The author taps into this zeitgeist in his brilliantly realized new novel, a searing alternate history of New York City from the 1960s to the near future, in which a tattoo machine is rumored to inscribe insightful assessments of its users' forearms with irreversible consequences. It's a novel about tattoos. Oh, God. Everyone else knows the truth about you, now you can know it too. That's the promise of Adam Lyon's odd contraption that tattoos personalized revelations that speak to the recipient's most fundamental nature, or at least what the original promotional flyer was selling, and a small stream of city dwellers buy into this cult of the Epiphany Machine, including Venter Lowood's parents. A bright young man lost throughout his adolescence. Okay, all right, okay. His first novel was Short Century, which I do not remember. So I'm not 100% sure that I read it. All right, so this is his ambitious second novel, The Epiphany Machine, with a blurb by Ben Marcus, the author of The Flame Alphabet. And on the surface, the plot description sounds a lot like The Flame Alphabet. So let's see here. And I know The Flame Alphabet is popular here on BookTube, and I liked it, kind of, sort of. But when I finished reading it, I asked out loud to the book, okay, the gimmick at the center of the book, those of you who know will know what I'm talking about. What happens to this novel if you remove that gimmick? And I got to tell you, the answer is nothing pretty. And that's bad, right? That means the book is relying on its gimmick, right? Which is not what we want. Like, for instance, well, what's an example of something? Well, take Anna Karenina, for instance. There are two gimmicks. There are two plot gimmicks in Anna Karenina. One is the love affair, and the other is the ending. If you take away those two things, you still have a masterpiece. So, anyway, let's keep going. We have a lot to do. Oh, good. This is a finished hardcover copy of a book I love. This is This Long Pursuit. It's a collection of occasional pieces by the great biographer Richard Holmes. I've already read this and loved it. There's the first half of it is general interest essays, traveling, teaching, forgetting, ballooning, and the second one is the second half is personality portraits of people in the past, like Margaret Cavendish, the star of Margaret the First, by Danielle Dutton, and Mary Wollstonecraft, and then there are afterlives. The final section is afterlives, in which he looks back at the Romantics, who are his bread and butter. They're the people he knows really well, and those essays are really great too. Boy, oh boy, it's fantastic. Always glad to have a finished copy. Let's see here. Let's move on. What's next? Oh, okay. I'm gonna put that one aside. That's actually a gift for one of you. So I hope it didn't accidentally show it on camera. And this one, well, at least it reached me. I hope it wasn't, in a package with other books, but at least this one got to me. This is the new novel by Nancy Thayer, the always reliably delightful Nancy Thayer. This is called Secrets in Summer, and this is the bound galley. So I'd probably get 2 more of these. And let's see here. This is she does beach books, is what they're colloquially called, and I love beach books, especially since I don't love the beach. So the beach books are as close as I like to come to blazing hot sunlight, 3rd-degree burns, and sand everywhere. So let's see here. Darcy Cotterill, age 30 and divorced, works at the Nantucket Library during the day. She spends most nights in her backyard gazing at the stars. She's on the brink of starting a relationship with a local carpenter, Nash, when she gets new neighbors for the summer, the most unexpected of whom are her ex-husband, his new wife, and stepdaughter. As Darcy is drawn into the lives of her neighbors, she must decide what she truly wants from her life and with whom she would like to share it. And I'm sure we'll all be on the edge of our seat trying to decide who she picks. Nash. Honestly. You don't go to the bother of having a name like Nash if you're going to be turned down. Anyway, this comes out in late May, just in time for the ferry to Nantucket. Let's see here. We'll move on. We're making some progress. We're reaching the bottom. As the light fluctuates back and forth, but I think you can see me just fine. Besides, seeing me is not the draw of this channel. So, let's see here. Okay, all right, this is another thing that I did not request. Looks intriguing, though. This is called Like a Fading Shadow by Antonio Munoz Molina. It's a novel that comes out in July. For over 30 years, Antonio Munoz Molina has written novels that, as Colm Tobin says, are filled with melancholy, pity, sympathy, feelings of aching helplessness for the fate of his creations, and concerned with large questions of memory and perception and the nuanced and fleeting nature of consciousness. I tell you, Colm Tobin never gives a blurb when he's not talking about himself. I swear. Get him to give a blurb for Nancy Thayer. He'd say the exact same thing. It's a dark thing, full of self-loathing and doubt. Oh, we don't know where we stand with Nancy Thayer's beach books. I know that he's a good reader, but still, it's a little bit of Irish projection going on there. So let's see here. The year is 1968, and James O'Reilly has just shot Martin Luther King Jr. Although, since you're on my channel, I should point out there's very, very strong forensic evidence that suggests that James O'Reilly did no such thing. It's a video for another time. Maybe I could make a new channel, Conspiracies Are Us, and just do that nonstop. But anyway, for 2 months he evades authorities, driving to Canada, securing a fake passport, and flying to London, all the while relishing the media's confusion about his location and his image on the FBI's most wanted list. Eventually he lands at the Hotel Portugal in Lisbon, where he anxiously awaits a visa to Angola. But the visa never comes, and for his last 10 days of freedom, Ray walks around Lisbon paying for his pleasures and rehearsing his fake identities. Ooh. Okay, that sounds like a great... So this is going to be inside of him, inside of his mind, in those 10 days. Fantastic. All right, so Like a Fading Shadow. This is July. I will report back on how it is. I don't think I've ever read anything by the author, despite his having toiled in the fields of fiction for 30 years. Actually, those of you who is Antonio Molina? Who is he? Do we know? He's author of more than a dozen novels, and the recipient of numerous prizes, including Spain's National Narrative Prize. He lives in Madrid. Okay, so those of you who are in Spain, is he a household name? Is he Philip Roth? Is he a novelist that everybody, even non-novelists, know? What's his profile in Spain? Anyway, let's move on. All right, so we have a comparatively rare work of history here. We're not doing a lot of Steve books, and it's unfortunately a trifle, but it's by a good author. So even a trifle by a good author is worth reading. This comes out in April, and it is Castles by Mark Morris, who's written a bunch of books. Let's see, there he is. He wrote a biography of King John. He wrote a biography of King Edward I. He wrote a book about the Norman Conquest. I reviewed him a couple of times, I think, and I like him. I like his style. And this is just a book about castles, their role in English history, their archaeology. All right, let's move on. What's the next one here? Okay, another thing I did not request, and more fiction. This is All the Beloved Ghosts by Alison MacLeod. A collection of stories due in late April. Her novel, The Unexploded, was longlisted for the Man Booker Prize and praised for the sensuality of her prose, whether dealing with art, desire, or love. And all those qualities can be found throughout her new story collection, All the Beloved Ghosts. Okay. A woman emerging from mourning spends her savings on a fur coat, a coat she will wear to a dance that will change her life. A professor of cardiovascular physiology lingers on the cusp of consciousness as he waits for his new heart to be delivered, still beating, from another body, and is carried on a tidal wave of memories to an attic room half a century ago. Visiting Sylvia Plath's grave in Yorkshire, the author imagines a conversation with the poet. Okay. All right, so who is Alison MacLeod when she's at home? Who is she? This is, what do we got here for, okay, so it's a dozen stories. She's a novelist, short story writer, and essayist. She's been nominated for the BBC National Short Story Award and the Sunday Times EFG Short Story Award. She was born and raised in Canada and is currently a professor of contemporary fiction at the University of Chichester in England. Okay. All right, great. A collection of short stories. Actually, it's been a while since I read one of those that I liked. That's out. I read Joshua Ferris's one that comes out in the spring that I loved. I liked it quite a bit. But oh, goodness gracious. Okay. All right, this is the finished copy of something. This comes out in mid-March. This is Numbers and the Making of Us. This is a finished copy by Caleb Everett, who is an Andrew Carnegie Fellow and Associate Professor of Anthropology at the University of Miami. There's no chance at all that I'm going to read a book about numbers. Oh, but this reminds me. One of you, in fact, I think when I showed the advance copy of this book, one of you said you love books on numbers. Who was that? if that person is watching now, well, leave a comment and let me know, and I'll get back in touch with you and send you this. Because God knows where the advanced copy is. It's long gone, but I have this, and you're welcome to it. I will read it on the outside chance that it actually makes sense to me. If that's true, then I'll need to review it first. And then we've got the last two things we've got are enormous white packages here. I can hope that they're science fiction, but I so seldom get science fiction. I wish that weren't true, but let's see here. The pull tab, for those of you who might be curious, did not work. All right, what have we got here? What have we got here? Oh, okay, this is another finished copy. This is the finished copy. This is due in March. This is The Kingdom by Emmanuel Carrere. Fairly nice finished copy. This is, he wrote Limonov. Some of you might know that book, Limonov, that had good word of mouth. So it surprised me with the health of the critical reaction that it got. This is the story of Christianity's beginning. Yes? Is the French writer, the best French writer you've never heard of, presents a masterwork that takes readers into the heart of Christianity's first days, as well as into the depths of the author's psyche. It begins with Carrere's revelations of his days as a believing Christian, though his enthusiasm fades over time. Yet the story of Christianity's beginning, particularly the machinations of Paul and his chronicler Luke, grips him. He uses familiar sources, the New Testament, Josephus, Seneca, but finds or imagines startling conclusions. He is not afraid of controversy. Yes, he believes the Jews killed Jesus, but he also offers a rebuttal about why that might not be true. Because much of the book is a reworking of Acts, it has been identified by its publisher as historical fiction. But placing such a demanding yet exhilarating work into any single genre is nearly impossible. Try me. The only this is a review. This is all a review from Booklist. The reviewer might have been drunk. The only category it really belongs to is in tour de force. Okay. All right. Well, so we don't know what it is. This is a novel about the early days of Christianity. I can't resist the urge to plug The Kingdom of the Wicked by Anthony Burgess, which is also a novel about the early days of Christianity and will blow you away. It's tremendously good. And then we have this last one. Also another big white package here. Most depressing thing of all would be if it's a duplicate of The Kingdom. Let's see. Let's see what this is. Oh, no. No? It's not a duplicate of The Kingdom. It's another finished copy. This is Heretics by Leonardo Padura. Boy, I'm getting a lot of fiction, and a lot of fiction by a lot of multicultural fiction. Not the usual. I mean, we've had a whole in this pile. We've had a whole bunch of novels, and only a couple by people from Brooklyn. That's what's the world coming to. So this is translated by Anna Kushner, and Leonardo Padura was born in Cuba in 1955. A novelist, journalist, and critic, he's the author of several novels, including The Man Who Loved Dogs. Oh, I got a copy of that, and I never read it. Even though, of course, everybody who knows me said, was this about you? Aren't you going to read it? His novels featuring the detective Mario Conde have been translated into many languages and have won literary prizes around the world. And he still lives in Cuba. Okay, interesting. So Heretics opens with the ill-fated 1939 voyage of the SSS St. Louis, a passenger ship that traveled across the Atlantic Ocean from Hamburg, carrying more than 900 Jewish refugees, only to be denied entry by immigration officials in Cuba and the United States. In Padura's novel, the 12-year-old immigrant boy Daniel Kaminsky watches from the docks of Havana as the ship approaches carrying his parents and sister. On board with them is a priceless heirloom, a small Rembrandt portrait of Christ. When the St. Louis is sent back to Europe, where many of its passengers will be killed in the Holocaust, the painting vanishes along with them. Nearly 7 decades later, the painting's forthcoming sale is announced by a London auction house, prompting Daniel's son, himself a painter, to uncover the story of his family's lost masterpiece. What he discovers is a sweeping, multi-generational saga spanning centuries and continents, one that links the fate of an apprentice in Rembrandt's studio in 17th century Amsterdam a rebellious emo teenager who vanishes from the streets of 21st century Havana, and Mario Conde, the salty Cuban ex-cop and reluctant private investigator who is enlisted to put the pieces together. Oh my God. I am so sold. Oh my God. Okay. All right. This comes out in mid-March. That is, of course, too late for me to pitch it to anybody who will pay me to review it, but I am, those of you who might be new to this channel, I am also the managing editor of a literary journal called Open Letters Monthly. And on Open Letters Monthly, there is a little spot called Open Letters Weekly that my colleagues very generously have given mostly to me to review books at a faster pace than monthly. So that's great. I will. I'm pretty sure that in this whole pile I will read this tonight. But let's see. Let me see. Is there any chance that I can do these all? So we've got Heretics. We've got The Kingdom. We've got Numbers. We've got All the Beloved Ghosts. We've got a book on castles. We've got A Gigantic History of Protestants. We've got Nancy Thayer's new Nantucket novel. We've got This Long Pursuit by Richard Holmes. What else we got here? The Epiphany Machine, a novel. The Wonder of Birds. A Simple Favor, a debut thriller. Oh, we want to leave that out. I got a present for one of you. I got Like a Fading Shadow and The Wild Swans of Cooley in a facsimile reprint. Look at that. Very nice. A very big sort of apology mail haul for not doing these every day. I've gone back to being an elderly, hated shut-in, so there shouldn't be any more traffic of people in and out. So, you know, the next mail haul should happen right on schedule. So I'm going to go for now. This is a hideously long video, although, again, you don't seem to mind. But before I go... Bye, BookTube.